gods and goddesses, uh, came across something very quite interesting. And you should know, first of all, is I have no political affiliations anywhere in the United States or anywhere in the world for that matter. But there's some interesting stuff here, because I've been dealing with liberals, so-called liberals, and I found this little thing came up on my feed about Elizabeth Warren being called a Pocahontas by uh, Donald Trump, because she was attempting to claim that she's a Native American, Elizabeth Warren. Like, sounds, well, Scottish, either Scottish, British, somewhere in the UK, either UK or Germanic, one way or another, because Germanic tribes, you know, following Roman expansion, ended up in the British Isles and whatnot, blah 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 blah. You do your own history, find out how the people of that region were peopled, and you will see how a lot of these so-called whites, and by the way, when I say whites, when I refer to whites, I'm not referring to uh, skin tone. I'm referring to a caste system that was created here in the Americas by those who colonized the Americas. Where whites are on top and blacks are at the bottom, and everybody else is in between, and it's really pretty much a state of mind, so to speak, at the crux of it, or at the core, and which is why I don't identify as black or African American or whatever, blah 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 blah, da 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 da, all that good stuff. Nonetheless, I have a little video here that I want to play first from Malcolm X, and then we're gonna look at this. We're gonna see what Elizabeth Warren's DNA test has to say. So here we go. Yeah, and Malcolm X warned a lot of people, especially people that look like him, about liberals. People who pretend to befriend, but it's generally for their own purposes. Like, let's just listen.
Friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. Friendly toward the lamb, and usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chopped in his plate. I'd like to point out, though, that I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ. I would agree that no doubt there have been a large number of whites who have posed as liberals and as friends of the Negro, and who have time and again betrayed the Negro. On the other hand, I think one can...
For the record, that's exactly what I am dealing with. I am dealing with pretenders who apparently, as far as it seems, were simply just out for my life force, which is worth more than they can imagine. To them it's whatever, but they don't understand the value of my life force and the result of granting them my life force. But nonetheless, let's continue.
Point to a large number of whites who
who have struggled for civil rights,
Give me
for
an example.
equality, and have got little or nothing out of it, other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negro.
Okay, I'll be more specific. I would cite Herbert Hill, for example, as a.
And also, by the way, just so you know, voting is the delegation of authority, which is why I have never voted. Probably I will never, ever, ever, ever vote a day in my life, because I will never delegate my authority to another man or a political structure or some mechanism where accountability is not instant. You know, it's not instant. Like, if I've delegated some authority to you, and I come and question, yo, I gave you this authority, and this is what you're doing. What the fuck? And the response is what I've been dealing with. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let's continue.
Kind of person who has championed Negro job rights, for example, in New York City and elsewhere. He has fought the political machine.
First time I met Herbert Hill personally was when they were picketing to stop the working on the Harlem Hospital in Harlem. Negroes for 10 years had to fight the city to get an annex built on the Harlem Hospital. Because in Harlem, we need a hospital more so than anything else. Our people are sick. Plus, we do a lot of cutting and shooting of each other, though we profess to be nonviolent. And Herbert Hill brought his forces out and stopped the working on that site. This is the first time I ever saw it.
Anyway,
Then,
I think you got the point there.
Was brought to a halt.
I think we're getting the point there. So let's slide here very quickly and see what this liberal Elizabeth Warren, who is a lawyer or was a lawyer, and side note is the people who are making the situation that I'm dealing with extremely terrible for the woman, or the white that I gave my life force, is lawyers who are women lawyers. I'm making it extremely not good for whoever I gave my life force to. And let's see, we can I don't know, we should go with let's see what CNN says.
What am I going as for Halloween?
And by the way, yeah, CNN is actually a liberal outlet, so-called liberal outlet. So let's see.
A nerd. Don't act surprised. Pocahontas. If you've paid even a little attention to the political world lately, you know that's President Donald Trump's preferred nickname for Elizabeth Warren, the Democratic senator from Massachusetts. It's an admittedly crude reference to her claim that she is of Native American.
And for the record, yeah, like the people that have been that have situation that I'm in, when they hate Trump, like they constantly complain about Trump, and I began to realize the reason why is because Trump exposes these people. Trump is like this, like I was looking into it and found out that it was Donald Trump that pushed Elizabeth Warren to go on and get this DNA test to prove that she's a Native American. So let's see.
And Trump's somewhat fact-free response that Warren claimed her status as a minority to get ahead in the world of academia. So why does any of this matter, you ask? Well, because Warren is running, should I say considering running, for president in 2020 against, you guessed it, Donald John Trump. Which brings us to what Warren did recently. Out of the blue, she released a 5+ minute video in which she travels back to her hometown, that's Norman, Oklahoma, to ostensibly trace her family tree. The video is slickly produced and has all the hallmarks of a video someone running for president or considering running for president would make. There's the folksy conversation with Warren's extended family about their hardscrabble roots, the shots of Warren doing normal people stuff, like walking and pointing at things, and repeated mentions of how Warren's mother always told her family that she was of Native American heritage. And then comes the big reveal. Warren, on the phone with renowned Stanford geneticist Carlos Bustamante, he's an advisor to 23andMe, we've all heard of that, asks whether Trump is right, or her mother is right, and if she does, in fact, have Native American ancestry. Bustamante responds that
the facts suggest that you absolutely have a Native American ancestor in your pedigree.
Which, if you ask me, is not exactly definitive. Think of it this way. If I go to the doctor for a physical, and at the end, when I ask him if I'm healthy, he says, quote, the facts suggest that you absolutely are healthy.
Suggest.
I'm feeling good, but I'm not feeling great, right?
Notice. Key word there, it's suggest.
I'd rather have heard, you are absolutely healthy. You are going to live until you are
And again, remember,
120 years.
Remember, Elizabeth Warren was a lawyer, and like I've been dealing with this law stuff, and came across the fact that these guys have their own definition of words, like words that we think mean this in general mean completely something else in legalese. So yeah.
Oh, the word suggest from Bustamante throws a decent slice of doubt into the proceedings. The conclusion from Warren's DNA test, a test Trump himself has routinely called on her to take, doesn't help her case all that much either. She is, according to the best estimate, somewhere between 164th and 1,024th Native American. 1,024th. That's 0.0097%, which is not a lot. Now, sidebar on the timing of all this.
So yeah, you see right there, that 0.009 whatever is probably the common denominator every so-called Homo sapien has. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably, you know what I'm saying? Like people who speak like, like this or whatever language they speak in, walk on 2 feet, to whatever, plausible term, blah, 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 can do the things that we do, learn the way that we learn. That's that 0.0097. And what we realize, or what you should understand at this point, is that, this Elizabeth Warren character is a freaking liar. Is a typical, what's it called? Like what Malcolm X was saying in one of these videos, that they do liberals, or let's not even say liberals, let's say a specific sect of whites portray themselves to be this way or that way so that they can cozy up with this other group and blah blah blah, so they can feel better about themselves and the guilt of whatever their ancestors did, so on and so forth. And bada bing bada boom, here we have it. You know what I'm saying? And the basis of whatever I'm getting at in this little presentation is, well, can't trust so-called white people. It doesn't matter if they're liberals or conservatives, Republican, Democrats, whatever, blah 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 blah, all that good stuff. There's a or like from what I'm seeing is that the way that they function is, at the end of the day, it's what benefits them. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say it's all of them. I guarantee you there's probably that 0.0097% of them who actually are genuine, in whatever endeavors that they're doing. I was learning about a bunch of, so-called white people, dying for, during the civil rights movement and blah, 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 because, they probably had a genuine, they were really in there. Like there was something in them that made them see that there was truly something wrong with the rest of them, and probably this video will probably do it the best way. Let's see what this guy Charles Manson talking about Africans, and let's see what he says. Let's listen to this. Oh, and side note, this Charles Manson was a crazy, he's a crazy motherfucker. I mean, you should I mean, like, look, just watch the video real quick. It's a minute long.